Ahoy, dads! Welcome to episode 4 of the DADcast, and here we are again with Kringle and Lafayette.
Hey.
Hello, everyone.
So Kringle, to start up with this, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, like a tiny bit of your story, how you started doing art, and all of those things?
Oh, okay, cool. Well, hi, I'm Kringle, and I really started drawing in middle school, I'd say, like the end year of middle school, like 14. And it wasn't like good. I wasn't serious about it. Like I literally just draw on the margins of my notebooks, and I wouldn't even put the faces because I was too scared to. And then once I was a few years into high school, then I was like, oh God, I have no other paths in life. Better start drawing. So that's what really got me into art hardcore, is the constant societal dread that I have no other options in life. And that's what really pushed me to be part of this community.
So, like, you really started to become serious, quote unquote, about art in high school?
Yeah, in high school, like the end year of high school, because I only had 3 years. So the last year of high school, I realized that I didn't really have good grades to get into anything like serious. You know, I wasn't going to be like an engineer or anything. So I just decided, fuck it, I'm just going to become an artist. And so then I went hardcore into it.
Like, how long was that from now?
Let's see. I guess it was 4 years ago. 4 years ago.
So it's pretty recent realization.
I'd say so. I don't know. I'm only 20, so 4 years is pretty long to me still.
Yeah, me too.
Kringle is but a mere child still.
I'm a babu. I'm sorry.
Okay, so what motivates you to draw? Like, is it just, oh, I can't do anything else in life, I need to do it, or I starve, or?
Kind of that. I've definitely learned recently to enjoy art for its own sake, mostly by putting lipstick and nail polish on everything. I don't know what that says about me, but yeah, for a long time, I was just kind of drawing what I thought I should draw. And recently, I've started really putting in my own aesthetic, and it's been really fun. So that's cool. I forgot what the question was halfway through.
What motivates you to draw?
Oh, what motivates me? Okay. Oh, that's hard.
Just like to draw because it helps me relax. I just like to do it, or do you like motivate it because it's becoming something that helps you like get money, or that you helps to support yourself, or?
Yeah. I definitely do art right now because it supports me. But honestly, I know that when I started, it was definitely 100% existential dread. But nowadays, it's kind of just second nature to draw. So I'm not quite sure what motivates me. It's kind of just like I exist to draw, and that's what motivates, that it's my calling and that it's my purpose, and I have nothing else to do with my life.
How do you feel like if you spend a day when you have like free time and you don't draw? Do you feel like, does it even happen?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't happen. It just, that time just blips out of my brain, and I don't remember it. That's why my memory's so horrible.
It's like breathing. Drawing is like breathing.
Yeah, it's like breathing. Just or like reading. You know, when you read, you don't remember reading. You're just kind of like, oh, I'm experiencing this story, and then you stop experiencing that story because I don't know, the bus you were on crashed or something.
I got a question to you about your drawings when you first started out and during that whole process of discovery. Do you remember exactly what you would draw then? What kind of subjects and what kind of thing that you started drawing and experimenting with at the start?
I used to be an edgy kid, and I used to draw like Eldritch Levithian kind of stuff, but mostly because it was just like aesthetic swirlies, and then sometimes I'd put in eyeballs, and then I'd like draw the little veins in with my lead pencil. So that's actually what I started out with, surprisingly. And then sometimes I'd draw like a girl in like a really, really chunky sweater where you couldn't see any of the figure. Those are my go-tos. Eldritch abominations that were really badly drawn, and girls in huge fluffy sweaters.
Okay, so now we have got a kind of an idea of your past self, your past self as an artist. So how would you describe yourself in your present self as an artist? How would you like, oh, if someone came to you and said, oh, what do you draw? Who are you as an artist?
I guess as an artist, I'm someone who just draws really colorful, gestural, and effeminate stuff because as a Jojo fan, those are my only skill sets at this point in time. So I just show them the best of, and I hope that they buy it because I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty bad at selling myself as an artist. I'm good at selling myself as a person. But if they ask, oh, Kringle, what kind of artist are you? I'm like, I don't know. I draw and shit. You know.
Tell us, is there any project that you have in mind for the near future?
No, not at the moment. I feel like I should, but I don't. So I'll have to make one. Yeah, I know that projects are very helpful though for building a portfolio. So I'll probably like extend the Space Girl universe. I've tried to do that a few times. I should give it another go.
Maybe just for now, you just want to keep doing what you're doing now, which is drawing effeminate, colorful palettes and Jojo-ish characters.
Probably. It's really fun.
Browsing through your gallery, we can still see that there is something recurring. You really like to draw humans, figures, humanoid people,
Yeah.
just people in general, characters, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm really bad at giving a narrative to my art. I'm just like, look at pretty. Have a pretty.
Yeah. That's kind of what we kind of talked about this during the Wolf episode, because I was browsing through Wolf's gallery during that episode, and yeah, we can also see that he draws lots of figures, humanoids, 2 legs, 2 arms, and yeah, he said he liked it also because he's more comfortable with doing narratives, but he likes to draw like humans because it's easy to, like, with outfits and with colors, to tell a story with simple elements.
Yeah. Hopefully, I will get to that point where I start telling the story, because I don't really have a story to tell with my art yet. My story is, why can't every person that I draw be really, really cute? And that's my story, where I just make them all really cute and colorful.
What happened to your Space Girl comic?
What?
Remember the Space Girl comic? What happened to that?
Oh God, I forgot about that. What happened is I got really demotivated because I was really unhappy with what I was doing, and instead of researching to fix a problem, I forgot about it because I am horrible at remembering to do things. It's restarting the Space Girl comic. I might try. It's just I need to fix the narrative because I have a beginning and I have an end, but I don't have a middle. So I should probably figure out what the middle of the story is. It seems very imperative to what I'm doing.
In this episode of DADcast, Kringle requires writing advice.
No, I don't need writing advice. I just need to actually write the story.
Good. Do you know how to write it?
I know how to write. I do. And don't worry, if I actually need writing advice, I can just ask Dom.
Not talking about writing, but do you still like for you the OCs you make, not all of them, but some of them? Do you have like a story in your head or a new universe, or do you have an idea of who they are, the universe they are in?
Yeah, I'm definitely not bad at developing like little universes and stories. Yeah, in my head, it's basically like a kind of government did something weird with fucky shit, and then something went wrong, and then people have to fix it kind of story. So you're cute girl, and you're like, hey, cute girl, you gotta join this team of very tough cute girls and fix the fucking problem. And so we ship them out into a meteor that has like eldritch fuckiness going on. And then Space Girl is all, oh no, oh gee, oh god, I'm not prepared for this situation. And then slowly, by means of survival, she becomes accustomed to the new environment that she's in and solves the problem. Kind of like aliens, but with more tentacles and eyeballs, if that makes sense.
Oh, so it's the comeback of your Eldritch Margin sketches.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going back to my roots.
Is this in any way reflective of your experience working fast food?
Actually, no. My experience working fast food was very pleasant on the customer end. It was more so unpleasant on the employee end because nobody knew what they were doing and everyone wanted to die and they were just very unhelpful and very mismanaged.
Relatable.
Yeah.
Because like summer jobs or student jobs often it's like that. Yeah. You're surrounded by people in the same situation as you, which is just, this is my first job. Yesterday I was still a kid. What do I do?
Yeah, and then it's because at McDonald's they don't train you really. They're just kind of like, go child, experience the wilds. But the managers still expect you to know how to do stuff. So a few times people got frustrated with me because they didn't know how to do anything because they never got told how to do anything. And I cried a few times, I'm not gonna lie.
Kringle, you forgot to read the manual.
I know.
Did that make you never want to go back to having a quote-unquote normal, non-art related job?
No.
You would still be okay with
Yeah, I'd still be okay with being a wagey slavey. Just I wouldn't want to work for McDonald's again, not gonna lie.
but like you would probably prefer to have an art related job though, right?
Yeah, I'd love to get into the industry, of course. If I could draw for a living, that would be great. I guess somewhere in my head, I find it so impossible that I will actually get an industry job where I draw for money that I'm just kind of like, I'll do whatever for money, man. But like, yeah, like if I have the opportunity, of course I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it and like bite its jugular and just get it by the teeth.
You don't have an industry job, but you did say that you draw to provide for yourself because you actually make money from your art. Isn't that like sustainable?
I don't know if it's sustainable. I mean, at the moment, I think I'm going by the skin of my teeth. If my parents were to kick me out right now, I'd have to get a normal job. I wouldn't be able to provide for myself through art. But I think that given time, I could definitely build up my reputation and make a living out of this, which is definitely nice. I know some people in the art community are like, they want to tell their own story and they want to do their own thing. But honestly, I'm perfectly fine just drawing other people's characters for money.
As long as you draw.
Exactly, yeah, as long as I draw. As long as I draw cute, colorful things.
Yeah, I think that's easier to get a living from art if you're just ready to draw others people's vision rather than being focused on doing your thing and having your passion project.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a passion project. I don't know what that says about me.
Not yet. Or maybe you have ideas. Maybe you mentioned the Space Girl comic.
Yeah, that's true. But even then, like, it wouldn't be a passion project. It would be like, oh, I should have a project. Guess I'll do this. Like, obviously just for now, but I don't think I have a story yet. Maybe I will one day, but not yet.
So you would say that you don't have any kind of end goal for now?
My end goal is to become God, who's that girl who sold her bathwater?
Belle Delphine.
Yeah, I want to become Belle Delphine, but for art. I wanna get a cute wig, put it on, become a Twitch streamer, die a lot in League of Legends, and get people's money. I just want people's money, man.
That doesn't sound like drawing, Kringle.
I know, but I'll draw. I'll draw.
Do you want to become a regular IC user?
No, I'll draw. I'll draw. Listen. I've been on Twitch. I know that people can simp just for a cute icon in the corner while they draw, okay? I can do it. Trust me.
Interesting. Now that you mentioned Twitch, that brings up something interesting that some Anons wanted to know. Someone said that they really liked your crit streams, and they asked if you feel that they were a valuable learning experience and if you would consider doing them again.
Yeah, first of all, I'm really glad that they enjoyed Crit Stream. That makes me really happy because I know there were a few crabs and they kind of got to me in the end. Crit Stream was definitely a super helpful experience for me in knowing where I was in the pecking order. And where I was in the pecking order was not as high as I thought I was. I don't think I was ready to do a crit stream when I did it. I don't know if I do a crit stream. I don't feel comfortable doing it now with my skill level. But maybe once I feel more confident in my fundamentals and being a more advanced artist, maybe I'll do it. But yeah, crit stream was definitely helpful because it made me realize, like, a little bit, I probably have the same problems that a lot of the beginner artists do. Just because I'm like, oh, let's just throw a gesture in there with no construction. So my constructing skills are pretty bad. I should probably improve that. Yeah.
What other kind of thing did it made you realize?
What other kinds of things? That beginner artists probably are the ones who benefit most from crit streams or crit events. I feel like when like advanced daddies, or not advanced, but daddies that are past the basics crit other daddies, it's like, oh well, that crit's valid, but that wasn't. This is just my style. But like legit, because it's like a lot of daddies who are more higher on the skill chart have their own kind of thing going. So it's hard to critique each other because past fundamentals, not a lot of us mesh well art wise. I think.
I think part of it might also be that people tend not to specify what they're doing. So a lot of the time you might catch them in the middle of a process, where you could spend 30 minutes talking about something and they could be like, oh yeah, I was going to do that. This is just like this one part of this thing that I'm doing throughout the month or something like that. Use the description boxes, people. They're there for a reason.
Yeah, description boxes are pretty good to use.
You did mention that you were glad that this person enjoyed your quiz team and that you were still conscious that there were some crabs and that they kind of
Yeah.
got to you in the end.
Yeah.
How would you say you handle criticism in general
Criticism. I think the way I handle
and crabbing?
Oh, like crabbing or criticism?
Both.
Oh, okay, nice. Criticism, I think I like look at it and then I'm like, do I want to do that? And then if it's yes, I use it, and then if no, I don't. That's pretty easy. Crabbing is easy to ignore, honestly, but when it's like a steady stream of crabbing, then it kind of gets to you, because it's like, oh, I could ignore this, but then you have to constantly have that mental energy all day, every day, 24/7, and that's not fun. That's not fun. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, because like there is so just a stream of negativity, and at some point you start going like, but there isn't smoke without fire. Maybe they're kind of right in their own way.
Yeah, kind of. Honestly, for me, it's more, gosh, people think that about me. It's not even like, oh, what if it's me? It's like, I can't believe my reputation is ruined this bad. Like,
Wait, it's not. Wait, I don't want this podcast to go too into psychological subject, but just it's interesting to see that you mind about the way people think about you because you don't come as someone very self-conscious.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good. That's what I hope for. No, I'm very into how people perceive me, cause let's go full in, cause I don't give a shit, man. Just cause when I was younger, growing up, I had to be very aware of how I was perceived by people, just cause of the environment that I was forced to be in. So that kind of made me develop a conscious all sort of thing where I'm like, this is how I'm perceived in this setting. This is how I'm perceived in this setting. And it just, my upbringing made me very aware of how people might see me, just so I know, oh, that person thinks I'm a dipshit. Better not interact with them. That kind of thing. It's just kind of a sort of self-defense mechanism, I suppose.
You don't want people to see that you care about what they think.
I don't want to see people to see that I care about what they think, and I don't want them to see that I am secretly very stupid.
Yeah, don't worry, you're not the only one.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm good, fam. I'm good, fam. You don't have to worry about me.
Tell us, Kringle, considering that you went in an entire quest for education in Italy, what are your thoughts on art school?
Well, first, maybe you should explain to the audience who doesn't know about the deepest lore. What was that about the Italy trip?
Well, what basically happened, okay, I'm going to dumb it down, but I'm not going to lie. What basically happened was Kaz slid into my DMs being all, hey, I go to an art school in Italy. You want to come, fam? You can bunk with me. And I was like, fuck, sure, fam. I want to get out of this house. So I went to Rome, Italy for like 6 months. And then Corona happened and I had to come back. But it was great. It was fun. It was fun.
Oh, it was only 6 months. I thought it was for like several years.
No. It was just a year. It was supposed to be for 8 months, but it got cut a little short because of the coronas. I mean, the program didn't cut short, but it kind of got cut short for me because I had to come back to LA because Kaz was moving back to Greece. In LA time, the classes were at like 2 a.m. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of just gave up, which I'm not very proud of.
But how did it turn out? Like, did you get your
certificate?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my certificate still. They were like, hey, Kringle, I know that you kind of like fell off the bandwagon, but we still care about you. And I was like, aw, thanks, fam.
Yeah, they will probably understand that, it's not easy if there's Corona happening and you're on the other side of the planet.
How was your experience with that like?
It was great. I've never been in an environment where everyone wants to be an artist and everyone has the same sort of passion and drive. And I'm not going to lie, that environment was really great. When you're around people who have the same sort of ambition that you do, it's really motivating, and it's really like a snowball effect. You just want to keep going at it.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, Kringle, I actually know this one site about drawing called Dad, where, some
I
people
know,
say it
right?
might be
It's
about that.
crazy.
Would you
It's
like to
crazy.
participate in it?
Well, who would have thought? But yeah, it's just cause online it's different. It's like you can have that sense of community, but IRL it's like you turn around and there's someone next to you drawing, and it's like just the constant buzz and presence is really something else. So I'm not to diss Dad. Dad is really great, and it's really helped me in my journey. But yeah, it's just having that real life presence was really great. I'm not gonna lie.
And going back to the art school, how was the experience in general, and how do you think it has helped you, and what are your like overall thoughts on it?
It was really good. It was just very loose. The program that I was in, you had to be very self motivated to get the most out of it. And I do not know if I fulfilled that throughout the entire course. But for things that are more boot campy and unstructured, I think it's a really good thing to go for, as long as you know that you have the mental grit to do it for the whole run. Because art education could sometimes be very mentally taxing if you don't know how to properly manage yourself and manage your time. So if you're like someone who's penny pinching to try to go to this one thing, I think it's good as long as you know that you have the self control and the mental mettle to go through that. It's not like military boot camp levels of, oh God, what do I do? But you should mentally prepare yourself. I do think it's a good thing. It's just if it's not like something for a specific skill. Like if it's just general college, I think general college you go to more for connections and like boot camp programs too. I think you should go, but more so not only for skill but also to make those connections. I think that's what it's really good for.
Yeah, basically you go to college for connections, you were saying.
Yeah, you go to college for connections, for the skill, of course, but also for connections. I think is you should keep in mind because it's very important. That's about it.
Okay, so you're talking about connections in college. So did you make any good connections for your art career in Italy?
Not really, no, because I was a very shy little Kringle in art college.
Oh, that's funny. Because I would have expected that the fact that you were around like-minded people who wanted to draw and make art and become artists would have made you kind of come out of your shell.
Oh yeah, no. I definitely came out of my shell a little. It's just there was a language barrier. Like most of the class was Italian, and they kind of hung around themselves speaking Italian. So then I hung around the few English speakers, and they were just all so Chad. They were all so Chad, and I got so nervous. So I talked to them, and we were friends. But I don't know how much of an impact I left on them because I was a shy little duck turtle. I'm not gonna lie.
Did the cast knew anyone there?
I think she knew one or two people, and she was like, hey, friend," and they were like, "Hello, Kaz," and she got her socials on. Kaz has pretty good social skills.
Did she not go like, "Oh, hey everyone, look, this is a small girl I found on the street and I adopted and brought here. Why don't you say hi to her?"
Oh yeah, she did that too. She like got me by the shoulder and shoved me in front of the room for display, and she was like, "This is a small child that I found in the gutter."
To get the certification for your first, like for your 9 month or 6 month thing,
Mhm.
was there any like selection exam or did like everyone get it?
I did have to submit a portfolio, but from what I understood, there wasn't a lot of competition to get in, so I got in pretty easily. I think I got emailed back that I was in like 2 days later. There is a skill level required for the beginning course, but it's not like too high. It's pretty easy to get in.
So looking at your gallery, I see mostly digital art, digital drawings and things like that. Do you ever do traditional?
Not really, no. If I ever do traditional, it's with like a really shitty pen I got from Office Depot in my like ancient sketchbook that's like falling apart. I don't find the traditional process super enjoyable. I know that's probably a very controversial opinion.
Surprisingly, you're not the first one on the DADcast to say this.
who would have thunk? But yeah, it's just I can't flip my canvas. I can't undo. And I can't. It's just I've developed a very particular digital process that I can't emulate in trad. It irks me really bad. I don't like it. It feels weird. It feels weird trying traditional on this.
Fucking Zoomers, man.
I know. I'm sorry.
I understand you. I'm not judging.
Yeah, but also what really moves me about traditional is that I have to spend money to do the things in real life. Like I'd rather just open Clip Studio and be like, "Bob boop boop, here's 3,000 colors," than go out of my house and go to Blick and get a 24 watercolor set and learn how to mix for like $15, and I have to buy a mixed media sketchbook for $12, and I just spent $24 trying to learn a new hobby. Like,
Consider Kringle that you will have to do many commissions to pay for your electricity bills in the future.
oh yeah, that's true. But I could just go to the library or something. Worst comes to worst.
Talking about spending $25 on another hobby. Do you have other creative hobbies or just hobbies in general?
I don't know if it's creative, but I knit sometimes. It's pretty soothing.
Yeah.
It's just because it's a repetitive task, and then you have the clicking sound. It's a nice little thing to do. Don't have anything else to do. Like on the bus. It's like I can't draw on the bus. I get nauseous, so I knit instead.
Yeah, same. So, okay. You need. What do you need exactly? Like sweaters?
No, I'm too new for sweaters. And because to knit sweaters you need like a circular needle. It's like this kind of needle where it's like two knitting needles, but instead of a stop at the end, it's a wire that connects it to the other needle. And I only recently got one. I wasn't able to make a sweater before. But yeah, mostly I just make like scarves and blankets. I crocheted a blanket once for someone for Christmas a few years ago. That was fun.
What did you try to do with crochet?
Just scarves, blankets, shawls, scarves.
So like the same thing, but with the other implement.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. One day I'll get trad enough where I can make a double-sided scarf. That'll be the day I truly peak, when I make a double-sided scarf that says like "fuck you" or something. That'll be.
Will you translate your drawings into the knitting?
God no, that would be so hard.
I kind of do see a relation between the two because you're making stuff, and I see that you really like fashion in what you draw and everything like that. So making clothes is kind of related.
I think she just likes Jojo.
Listen, Jojo is where it started, but I do legitimately kind of into fashion. I'm not good at knowing like names and stuff. I'm not good at the history, but I have an eye for when something looks good and when something looks bad. I like watching fashion documentaries. I like knowing what looks aesthetic on the human form. I like knowing the possibilities of how beauty can be expressed through clothing and through how someone can wear that clothing. Because I don't do it a lot in my art, but with fashion, like obviously there's the meme like, oh, high fashion is so fucking weird, man. What the fuck's going on? But some of it is legitimately visually interesting, and I really like getting into it because
I agree.
Yeah. Thank you. Because it can like influence the way that you structure your art and the way that you can structure your character design.
Yeah, it's an inspiration.
Exactly. Yeah, it's an inspiration. Thank you. So yeah, I do into fashion. I'm not just into Jojo.
Do you usually make fashion studies or something like that to help you clothe your characters better?
I should. It's just
I think it's unconscious. Like you watch fashion documentaries and then it comes back later as inspiration when you try to design outfits.
Yeah. It's mostly a subliminal thing. Yeah, because I do think that doing like quote fashion studies end quote would be nice, but the thing about stuff is usually there's like a design motif that's throughout a collection. So to do a fashion study, what you'd probably have to do is like a master study. You'd have to look at the collection and be like, okay, these are all of the design elements. Now I'm going to try to replicate this in that style. Like that one art study where you're like, oh, I studied this master. Now I'm going to try to make an individual piece that's completely unique but within that style. I think that would be a good way to study fashion, is by looking at the design elements and replicating it yourself.
Yeah, I was going to ask a question about what inspires you to draw, but that's a good answer. Like, and I can relate on some extent because I was really not that much into fashion before reading Jojo.
Jojo is a really good in to like really campy, crazy stuff. Cause I'm not gonna lie, before Jojo, the only crazy fashion I really got into was like punk and goth. That's really fucking normie, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, and then it helps you broaden your horizons. Like you start, like you have this barrier when you're a teenager, like, oh, this is stupid, like too many colors, like I only like edgy, dark things. And when you read JoJo, you're like, oh, sometimes things that look kind of ridiculous can be fun.
Yeah. Jojo is like all the colors. All the colors.
Even though it doesn't have any colors or anything.
I mean, the manga is in black and white, but
Yeah. God bless whoever colors the JoJo manga, because they get to a point where they just put lipstick on every character, and it's a blessing.
so yeah, your inspiration, fashion, manga, anime, from what I can gather through mainly JoJo. Then
Yeah. I did read Real Clothes though. Bento recommended it to me. It's a fashion manga, but it's in real life. It takes place in like a Japanese mall or something, and it goes into like more about the technicalities of the industry on the selling point, and I really like that because it talked about fashion, but like from a market perspective. That was really nice.
How is this manga called?
Real Clothes, but to warn them, real clothes fashion is the more normie kind of chic fashion, you know, where it's like, oh, I'm wearing boots and a turtleneck. That means that I'm fashion.
That sounds very 2004.
Nice.
So, since you were talking about, things like design and such, one Anon asked, what do you see as the difference or similarity between art, illustration, and design?
Well, I guess the difference is the way that you use it for its intended purpose. For me, art is like the umbrella. It's like there were a lot of things that you could put under art. You could put like interpretive dancing under art. You could put architecture under art. So art's definition is kind of out there in the wind. I don't know how to define it. Most people don't know how to define it. Illustration is definitely, like a something that you make mostly for the visual appeal and for the story. For an illustration, you don't have to have a lot of things in design, because art design can be very technical, honestly. There's not a lot of quote soul in design art, because design art is like, oh, I made this turnaround and I made like this 50-hour render detail character sheet, and I drew this gun. And then illustrations could literally be like 3 orange blobs with a through line and then a girl in the corner with an ice cream cone. Illustration is just whatever the client wants or whatever the story needs. And design is more how you convey what something is instead of what the story is compared to illustration.
it's a question of what are your intents with the thing you draw. Do you want to make a story, or do you just want to make something visual?
Exactly. Illustration is very the end product is it. That's what you're going for. It's whatever someone comes to you and they're like, I need a drawing of Goldilocks being eaten by 3 bears. And you're like, okay, I'll do it, fam, and you chuck it out. But design, it's like more, okay, I drew 50 iterations of this one girl. We're picking this one. Let's make 5 more iterations, and now let's color them with 3 different palettes. And now let's get the one that we finally decided and make 6 more iterations of her. And now let's give her a gun. It's like that. That's what design is compared to illustration.
Well, yeah, that's a good answer, because I wouldn't have been able to answer that.
Nice. Real quick also, if you're trying to make a portfolio, for a design portfolio, the end product isn't so important. What people want to see, what I learned is what people want to see in your portfolio is the design process. So be sure to include all those iterations if you're trying to make an art station and be like, oh, I wanna get a job. Just put in those design iterations. That's what people want to see, is your thought process.
It's good that you give portfolio advices, because you clearly have experience with that.
Oh yeah, I clearly have experience making a portfolio, as you can see from my portfolio that I definitely have.
Do you look over Cass's shoulder while she was working on hers?
No. Run! Hell no. At that point, I think I gave up. I don't even know what Cass's portfolio looks like. Oh, I do know. I take that back. I do know. It's like on a website that her husband made. She's like, haha, I have a husband that can make websites. And I'm like, oh, that's good, Cass. That's good. That's great. It's great.
Cue in sad music while Kringle sits in the corner. So, I think that perhaps the rest of the questions that we have submitted by people we could leave for later and move on to questions about dad.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
So, okay, Kringle, how about you tell us, how did you first discover dad, and and when and why did you decide to join the site?
Okay, I've been excited to answer this question because actually, I lurked the first threads that was like, "Oh, what if we made a community that was like we're like the Hunger Games with artists, and then we're the last artist standing." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool," but I don't want to join because I don't want to get banned from 4chan because I thought that like if I joined last, they know that I was underage and I'd get banned from 4chan
Oh
because
no.
because when last started, I was like 15 or something. I don't remember what year it was. Just get the year that last started, subtract 2000. That's my age. So yeah, so I didn't join dad for the longest time. I think I tried to join or last at that time. I think I did make a few accounts on last, actually 2 or 3 times, but I got too scared to post every time because I was like, oh no, what if they figure me out that I'm like 16, which is really stupid on the internet, because no one knows you're a dog on the internet.
Yeah.
But when I finally graduated high school, I was like, I'm an adult now. I'm an adult now at 17. time to join.
Still
dad.
underage.
Yeah, I know. I know. But it's like, oh no, but I'm ready now. I have a driver's license. So now once I graduated high school, then I was ready to join last. So I went on 4chan being like, okay, where's last? It's time for me to finally become one of the brethren. And I joined only to realize that last was dead. Dead was dead, and now was dad. And so I posted in thread with like this reaction image of a screenshot of My Hero Academia that I took of Izuku's mom with like, hey, is it too late to join? And then people responded with, no, it's still week 1. You could be week 1. So I joined and I posted, and I was not week 1. I was the day after week 1, which I was kind of bummed about. And I posted that picture of an anime girl with a gun in perspective because a few days before that, I had drawn, what was it called? Pop Team Epic? I had done some fan art of Pop Team Epic with a gun in perspective, and I was pretty proud about that. So I tried to emulate it to not so good results, I will not lie. And that was how I joined dad. It was a little bit of a mental odyssey, which I'm pretty happy to remember. Because I joined the Discord too pretty early. I was lurking it for the longest time. And then finally, once I joined dad, I posted, hey, I'm here. Hello. And it was pretty great. The community was very welcoming, very nice.
Yeah, it's funny because now that we look at that, it feels like you've been here forever.
I know. Yeah, I was very good at being loud and shouting my presence to the winds. No, I'm going on my second year. My second year is going to be, if not in next month, then in a few days.
Now that you comment about your first day, is there anything else of note that you remember from your first day on dad and how it was like?
My first day on dad and how it was like. Not too much. What I mostly remember is that reaction image that I used, and finally talking in the Discord. I remember a few people said hi to me. I remember Susie said hi to me, and I thought that she was really nice. And then I learned over the course of me being in the community that she was actually kind of spooky, but also kind of nice. And I learned to. Yeah, the community was nice, and I felt very welcomed. Very on edge, but very welcome.
And how do you feel about it now, the community?
The last community has definitely
No, the dad
changed.
community. And the last also, yeah, you can talk about it.
Okay. All right. The dad community, I haven't gotten to know the dad community itself too well until recently, since I've been more active in the dad Discord. I really like it. It's kind of like this ruffian sort of vibe where you just, you do what you gotta do when you gotta do it, and everyone's just kind of vibing. It's really nice because it's just all loosey goosey.
Do you feel like it's welcoming?
Yeah, it is welcoming. It is welcoming. You kind of just show up. It's kind of like a bar. You just show up and be like, hey, world, I'm here. And then everyone's like, I don't give a fuck. Do what you gotta do, fam. It's welcoming in the sense that no one gives a shit. You know that kind of welcoming? It's like that.
It's not a lot of pressure because the only pressure you can have is you putting pressure on yourself.
Yeah, exactly. The only fear is fear itself, kind of thing. Except it's art and it's in your head, and everyone's just trying to be your friend on the internet.
Do you hear that shy dad's Kringle is telling you to get the fuck in here?
What? Oh, shy dads. Yeah, shy dads. The only way you can be popular, or not even popular, but the only way you can make friends in the community is by being loud and being yourself. Because people can't be your friends if they don't know who you are. You have to introduce yourself. You have to engage.
Do you hear that, Skipped?
Yeah, and if we're annoying you with Jojo posting, you are allowed to tell us to shut the fuck up. You will shut the fuck up. We have another server to talk about Jojo in.
Yeah. How, in your opinion, how has that helped you as an artist, and maybe as motivation? How has it helped you to draw every day, to post art every day, at least on the website?
It's definitely, well, what I'll say is that dad itself for me is not very motivational, because the number is nice, but for me what really helps is the accountability. So if you're the kind of person where you could just be, oh, I hold myself accountable, that's great. That's great. I'm really glad that you get the most out of dad just inherently. But for me, the way I get the most out of dad is having the community hold me accountable. Because I think a lot of us here get into funks where we sort of start to self isolate. And when I get into that kind of funk, dad just as a website doesn't really help me. But the community holding me accountable for that streak was what really helped me grind those first years that I was in. I remember when I first joined dad, I talked about that existential dread, where I'm like, oh God, art is my only path. I better get the fuck going or else I'm gonna die in a ditch and be homeless and be teen pregnant and be homeless and be addicted to crack or something. And so I remember the community holding me accountable was great, because not only did I have the motivation to draw every day, I also had the motivation to draw as much as I could. Because I remember houses, when I first got introduced to it, literally blew my mind. Because it was like a competitive thing where you draw as much as you can and tell other people to eat your dirt and eat shit. That was fabulous. That was absolutely fabulous. Dad, when I first joined it, really helped me grind. Because I think I joined on the verge of the mech challenge, I think. And that really gave me the motivation to, like, not only just draw, but push myself with my art and try to do as much as I could.
And draw for a purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Because what can happen really easily is you draw just to keep your hand busy. It's not anything that you're conscious of, like you're not drawing because you're putting any thought into it. You're just drawing because, oh, I have to draw something today. What's really good is when you draw, but there's purpose behind it, where you're like, I want to do this with my art and I want to learn this thing.
And kind of forces you.
Yeah, exactly. That's the real essence of dad, where you're like, you're drawing every day to learn and to better yourself. And when I first joined dad, that was what really pushed me over the edge. And I think that's why I had such a skill spike, because dad really pushed me to be that person. And I'm really happy for that.
I remember you talked to me about the mech challenge before. Would you say that was when you started taking dad and the whole thing more seriously, or where it started like clicking for you?
Yeah, definitely. It was the first time as a little Babu artist that I was like, oh, I can use art to not only make something based on something that already exists, but make something on my own that has its own essence and its own voice. And that was really, really fun to me. I remember putting a lot of effort into it. And looking back, it's absolutely horrible. The layouts are shit. And the people get mad at, not people, mostly Phil. Phil gets mad at me because it's not like full mech. It's just kind of like, oh, I got a smart car and changed the wheels with spider legs sort of thing. Because I wasn't super into mech, so I didn't know what the fuck to do. But it was like the first time where I was like, I could make art with the intention of making a world on paper. And that was really exciting to me as a little baby artist.
How you talked the other, like earlier, about what you like about commissions, like just you're comfortable with drawing what other people want to see, like making other people idea come true. it's kind of the same idea with dad challenges. Like other people make an idea and you're kind of forced to do something that you wouldn't have drawn otherwise, but now you're happy to draw it because they gave you the idea.
Exactly. It's kind of like a bridged anime. Like they get the original story and then they just mold it into something that's different.
That's theirs. That belongs to them only.
Exactly. It's like it's just an improved, more invigorated version, and I love doing that with art. It's great because like I did art fight, and if you look at most of the, I draw the character, but then I like change the design, and then I put lipstick on it, and then I make them do me in a weird pose.
That's very cool. I mean, I really like how you bent the design. The design of my OC, because my OC didn't have a really original or interesting design. I just did it because I had to do it for a challenge, and because it was still a work in progress in my mind. I wanted to improve it, and the way you kind of exaggerated in a completely different direction helped me rethink about it. And now with that, I think I'll find a middle ground between the two.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. Also, your design was in profile, so I had to literally come up with most of it because your design was like, oh, I'll draw a crocodile face and I'll put a cape on it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, I'm just glad that I could do that and people vibe with it. They're like, "Oh, you fucked with my design? That's great. I'm so happy." I'm glad that I live in that world where I could just get something, fuck with it, throw it out into the winds, and people are like, "Oh yeah."
Definitely some people are more like, "Oh, you have to draw this, the hair this size and this shade of color exactly, or else I'm going to call you out."
Yeah, or else I'm going to call the police. Yeah, I don't vibe with that too hard. I mean, I definitely could and would for money, but when it's just, something that I do just to make something that I think's great and beautiful, I really love it when I could just, just make something really not crazy looking, but something a little fab. Really like that.
Yeah.
Kringle, going back a little bit on challenges, since it was challenge that first got you to take data more seriously and get into the groove of things, how would you compare challenges like that one with the current challenges? What do you think of challenges now and how they stand?
Let me look at them, because I never remember them pretty good.
When was the last time that you participated in a challenge?
Oh, I'm not gonna lie, it's been a while. It's just because for a while I was really in a funk where I didn't care. I didn't care about achievement. And now that I'm in a vibe where I care about achievement, it's like, oh, but which ones do I do? Let's see. I think the challenges these days are all right. There's definitely a lot more meme challenges. I remember back in my day, there were a lot more grindy challenges where it was like, oh, you do draw a box for like a month, and you do plein air for a month, and you do 30 figures for a month, and I admittedly did make the 100 heads challenges that were actually 200 heads because I couldn't do math. So I guess these days the differences between challenges is that they're more gimmicky. They're more, oh, let's do this thing, guys, because it's kind of funny, haha. And there's less grindy challenges, but I think it's just the community shifting. I don't think it's so bad. And honestly, if we want to grind, we could always make a grindy challenge. I think that the potential is still there because there's like fundamentals of animation challenge right there, which I have not participated in whatsoever because I was working on commissions. but yeah, the environment's changed in that there's just more fun challenges instead of really hardcore grindy challenges, which honestly I don't think's bad. I don't think that's bad at all.
There's also been more prompt than challenges, but there's also been team challenges. What are your thoughts on the team challenges?
Team challenges are super great. I've been lucky in that in one challenge I just completely forgot that I was in the challenge, and then I kind of got passed around between teams, and now in the Zodiac challenge I'm in a team where I know the people. But I think team challenges are great because I know most of us here, we're kind of like in our little corner not knowing how to interact with people. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity for daddies to interact with each other and make friends and paint each other's nails. So I hope that the daddies that are partnered with people they don't know take that opportunity. Please, God, because we all know we didn't take it in school. Might as well take it in dad.
Yeah.
Going a little bit with what you mentioned about the challenges changing around on this site and the community changing a bit, How do you see the site's future?
The sites. Oh, I don't have the mental prowess to see the site's future. In the future, I guess I hope there's a light theme, because I admittedly am not fond of the dark gradient in the background, because it kind of messes with me looking at the art in the background sometimes, and I kind of wish that wasn't there. Besides that, I think it's fine where it is. I don't know a lot about website design and designing website to maintain a community, so maybe in the future there'll be forums on the website. Maybe that's as far as my brain can go, man. I don't really have a lot of opinion on where the site should go or where it could go, because I honestly don't know.
One last question about the dad community.
Yeah, go for it.
Which dad artists inspire you the most? Are there ones that you check on a daily basis?
Oh, well, this might be a controversial opinion, but I'm really bad at looking at other dads' art. I'm just the kind of person where I just submit for my day and then I go to sleep.
Mm-hmm. And that's totally fine.
Yeah. Oh no, of course. It's just I have had a history of dad crushes, though. I'm not gonna lie. When I first joined, who I had a huge art crush on was Wizard. Actually, I really like his sense of palette and how his art is really goopy. You know, it's just kind of like,
Yeah, it's unique.
yeah. But it's like that one artist who draws like really like little teddy bears with really fat asses. It's like that, where it's just it's like this sense of art where everything has like an egg shape. It's really aesthetic, and I like his palettes.
He kind of started around the same time as you, I think.
Did he? Yeah. I think he. Yeah, I just know that I saw his art one day, and I was like, oh my god, that looks so good. And now that I am where I am, I'm like, still good, but not so much of a crush. Who's my really big crush right now is Jay. I get so flustered around. I haven't even sent him a friend request. I need to get into Jay's DMs and learn his secrets, because he draws so much. He draws so good, and it's so flowy. Because one of my baby art crushes when I first joined was also Sugoi, and I still love her sense of aesthetic. But now that I'm more developed, I can see that her art is a lot stiffer than what my goals are. So Jay is like the developed Sugoi crush, where it's like, it's rendered and it's flowy. So yeah. But honestly, I really love that about the dad.
And he posts daily.
And he posts daily. Ah! poor Sugoi listening to this, like, god damn it, why can't I keep these straight? But yeah.
Now she knows what she has to do if she wants to become your crush once again.
No. What she has to do if she wants to become my crush is learn how to not draw stiffly. Like, no shade, but every time she draws, it's like a little Barbie. It's like a little G.I. Joe Barbie with the limbs. The only thing that moves are the joints. But yeah, that's what I love about dad, honestly, is that you could be in the same community and who you aspire, it changes. I love that so much. It's just, I love surpassing other people. I know that sounds horrible, but it's true.
Honestly, I don't know if you'll listen to this, but I agree with you. I really also have a big art crush on Jay, but I think that's pretty obvious. I comment on his stuff pretty often, but
Oh, I should comment on his stuff more often then. Let him know that I wanted his deal.
yeah, I think he has some really good taste in the subject matter he draws, and he inspires me.
I really loved the little ping pong comic he drew. The girls in there
Oh
were
yeah,
so cute.
that was great.
It was fabulous. It was wonderful.
If you're looking for it, you can still, despite the fact that he nuked his gallery, you can still find it on the last chord he hasn't deleted there.
Yeah, I better bookmark it then before the last chord does another fucking nuking.
So Jay, Wizard, but not anymore, not really, and Sugoi, but not really anymore too.
Do you have any other dad crushes, or are there any other dad users that interest you?
Not at the moment, but it might change.
All right. People will have to fight harder for you to notice them, though.
What does your typical drawing session look like? Do you have like warm-ups, rituals before you start drawing?
No, I should probably, but I don't. Usually what'll happen is I wake up and I'll already have something on my canvas and I'll work on it, or I'll have nothing on my canvas and I'll kind of just see what I have to do and start doing little thumbnails for it, and until I'm warmed up enough to actually go at it.
Do you have like set ideas, or do you just go improv?
I usually go improv. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, I haven't drawn X in a while. Better draw X. But usually I just kind of go and see what happens. I honestly don't do very well, though, unless I have like a list of things to do. That's why I love having commissions, because then I have a set list of things that I need to draw. And that really helps me have the motivation to do things when I know what to do in the first place. Because I know that there's some artists who are like, oh, here's my canvas. I'll just vibe. I'll just turn this into my own. Like Kim Jung-gi just fucking goes at it, turns it into like this beautiful giant sheet of wallpaper. But I can't do that. Not yet, at least. So I have to do is I have to like make like a to-do list of I got to draw this and this, and then I'll go at it.
Well, yeah, I guess for commissions you have kind of an idea of what you're going to do.
Yeah, exactly. And also there's a rhythm to commissions, because it's like first you do the liner and then you send it to the client, then you do the other liner, then you send it to the client, and then by the time that you finish the third liner, the first client has already responded, so then you color it, then you start the process over again. So it's this nice little back and forth that I enjoy.
How many time do you spend drawing daily?
Probably not enough. I'd say at least 4 on average.
4 minutes?
4 hours. Fucking. On average, though, because sometimes I have off days where I do absolutely nothing, which I have to stop doing. I have a problem where I get very easily distracted, which is why I should probably join voice call more often, because I have this thing where I can't concentrate unless there's like background static going on. So usually I'll put on like a movie or a video or music, but sometimes it's not like enough. So then I get distracted looking for like gotta join voice call. It's the secret to productivity.
Are you happy with the art you produce right now, with your current level?
Right now, I'd say I am, but only because I can sense like another jump coming on. Because I made a really big jump when I was like first in DAD, and if you could look at my gallery, like all of a sudden, just my skill level really jumped, and I can sense another one coming on. So that's the only reason I'm happy, is because I can sense another level up. If I wasn't sensing another level up, I'd be trying to push myself again, like even more, just because I'm happy that I'm improving.
Oh, not saying like, oh yeah, you're happy that you can stop. No, just saying, are you comfortable with where you're at right now? Like, do you think it's good?
I think it's good. It's not great, but I think it's good. I think that it could be better for sure. But yeah, if that's not the problem, then yeah, I'm comfortable. If I was killed in a shooting today, I would die peacefully, knowing that I made some good stuff. Good. That's where I was going. I'm not sure. I wasn't sure you were comfortable with talking about you dying, but. Brett, don't worry. I'm down for anything, man. Don't worry about it.
It comes with the nationality, Lafayette. She has
It
to be ready for the shooting.
I mean, no, she's not going to school anymore, so she isn't risking getting shot.
Yeah, I'm not going to school now, so it means I'm not gonna die, man. Death is optional.
Kind of related to the previous question. So, what is the piece of art you have made that you're the most proud of?
That's a hard one. Let me think about it.
I'll give you time.
I'll take my time. Probably not because of execution 100%, because looking at it again, I did kind of shit. But I'm really proud of the Sailor Moon Vaporwave drawing that I did. I did it for the album cover challenge. I was really happy with the proof of concept that I got for that. And I think I'll probably redraw it at some point, just because.
Fun fact. You want to hear a fun fact?
Oh, go for it.
The first DAD thread I browsed was the DAD thread that used your Sailor Moon pick as a OP image.
Ooh, that's cool. Well, I'm glad I was so hooked then. Yeah, I'm really happy with the way that her hair falls over her and then into the ether. I thought that was really cool. And I guess more recently, I'm a fan of the Kira in the shopping cart one, just because I kind of went ham on that one, and I just kind of did whatever the fuck. And I thought that the results were pretty great. I guess what I should take from that is I'm happier with my art, but I do whatever the fuck and do some weird aesthetic shit. So I should do that more often.
Honestly, yeah, just very aesthetic.
Aesthetic, yeah. Yeah, the art's all about the aesthetic, man. The fundamentals, what that, man? It's all about that vaporwave shit.
That does transition to another question, another hard question.
Uh-huh.
What are your opinion on soul, like correctness versus appeal?
Well, I think, and honestly, it's true. If you could break shit with it still looking good, it's valid. Cause like the thing about fundies is you have to get to a point in your art where it's not dog shit. Cause when you start out, it's just horrible. It's horrible, and you hate it, and you hate yourself, and you hate what you're making, and you hate that you're doing it. And then once you get to the point where you're like, I don't hate this, then you can start breaking shit. Cause what people say was like, oh, you have to learn the fundamentals before you can stylize, because if you don't learn your fundamentals, then you don't know what to stylize. That's just not true. What they mean is you have to get to a point in your art where it's not absolute crap baskets. Because as long as you have developed a sense of aesthetic, you could break stuff and have it be, appealing. Because most people draw for isn't for other artists who know what's broken and what doesn't work. It's for people. Most artists draw for people. And people don't know what fundamentals are. They don't know what they're looking at. They're normies. So as long as what you make is appealing to your audience, you could do whatever you want. So soul is very real in that sense. It's like
Yeah, there's definitely layers to how you appreciate art if you're an artist or
yeah,
not.
exactly. It's like music. Music can do all sorts of absolute technical fuckery and breaking that technical fuckery, but at the end of the day, they're making music to sell to their audience. And that's what they're doing. And that's what most people are doing with their art. Maybe not you specifically, if you're still learning, but most people who are in a career in art are just making art to give to their audience and to their viewers. So if they break shit and it's still appealing, that's totally valid. Like, you don't have to have constantly technically correct art. I think that misses the whole point, even, I dare to say. Because if you make technically correct shit 24/7, obviously, of course, maybe you still have an audience. Maybe you can still sell it to, whoever you want to sell it to. And not sell it for money, but, sell it like, oh, I'm pitching something. Here you go. I'm selling it like that. So obviously there are people who can sell technically correct shit 24/7. But at the end of the day, you have to do what's appealing and what has aesthetic value. So that's not always what's technically correct, I suppose. Like, I know Wolf loves breaking anatomy and breaking hands just to push the aesthetic form that much more. So stuff like that. If you're breaking it and it still looks good, fuck it. That's what you're doing, and that's great.
Yeah, I think that's something that you may not be conscious of when you start drawing. Especially if you start drawing with books, and then you start to, longer you've been drawing, you slowly start to understand that, well, if it looks good, why even bother?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's kind of like...
It's part of the evolution of the artist.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who the fuck... I'm fucking horrible with names. You're gonna hate me. But that one guy who started like that deconstruction thing where he tried to draw a face at like multiple angles at the same time. And he said that it took him like so and so much years to learn how to draw like a kid. It's like that. It's like you have to learn to like unlearn and fuck with everything. It's kind of weird.
You gotta know the rules to break them.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just, I feel like a lot of artists feel this pressure from that statement. It's like, oh, so I guess I have to learn all the muscle and draw like a perfectly technically correct human anatomy before I can draw anime.
They also don't want to be the lol cow, Holly Brown. Oh no, broken anatomy. People are going to make fun of me, and I can't say that I break the things because it's my style as a scrub excuse. I can't say it. Just try, do what feels best for you, and then if it looks good, it looks good.
And if it looks bad, kill yourself.
If it looks bad, maybe it's not related to correctness. Maybe the problem is elsewhere.
Yeah, maybe it's just aesthetics. Yeah, exactly.
across the guests we've asked the question of soul. Most of them have had the same answer as you.
Yeah, I mean, it's because we're right. It's because we're right, fam.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of agree with. It's reassuring to hear that because what kind of motivation would you get from someone thinking, no, correctness is absolutely vital. If you don't draw proportion, like exact proportion, golden ratio, then your drawing is invalid.
All right, Kringle. So, for something still related to art, but moving into some of the community suggested questions, one of the Anons asks, how do I stop hating my art?
This might be related to actually worrying too much about proportion.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess this is admittedly a hard question, depending on what your mentality is. Because I know sometimes people hate their art just inherently, and then they're like, "Oh, I hate this," and because I guess what you have to do, stop hating your art, is you have to. This is gonna sound super gay, but you have to accept who you are and where you're at, and not put so much pressure on yourself. Because I think why you hate your art is because you're not happy with what you're making and you want it to be something else, which is totally fair. Totally fair. I know the exact feel. But what you have to understand is that your goals are going to take time and you can't put that expectation on yourself because when you do it to that degree, it doesn't help you. It just hinders you. So you have to let your expectation go and just kind of blossom into who you are in the present. Because if you're just looking at the future, you're not going to be able to appreciate the art of the present. And that sounds super lame, but yeah, you have to just accept who you are and move on.
It's a hard question to answer without knowing who asked it. The answer is going to be different depending on the person.
That's also true. Yeah, it just also depends on the source of the problem. Because I know when I usually hate my art, it's like, oh, I wish that I was doing this instead of what I'm doing now. So I don't know. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. But that's the answer I give.
Moving on to what probably everyone wants to know. Tell us, who is the cuter frog poster? Hoppy or Nessie?
See, I thought about this. Thought about this real hard. And I'm gonna have to say Nessie. Just because I don't think that her art is inherently cuter than Hoppy's, but she is more dedicated to the frog cause. So I'll have to give it to Nessie.
Understandable.
Yeah, exactly. She's just really, really a frog poster to the soul.
Something else that some people in the thread wanted to know.
Uh-huh.
Tell us, would you rather fight one wolf-sized wolf or 10 wolf-sized wolves?
See, this is really confusing to me because it's just like I just pick between 1 or 10 wolves.
It's either wolf or a wolf. Now interpret it as you will.
I guess I'd rather fight. It's just because wolf is a person, so it's just like would I rather fight a small man or 10 large wolves? So I guess I'd rather fight one wolf-sized wolf because then I could just kick it and he'd feel bad. And yeah, I just kick it. I just kick him. I guess one because I'm scared of being outnumbered.
Again, I trust that people will take that as they will, changing the position of the wolf and the wolf. Okay, speaking about another data user, some Anon asked,
Yeah.
is the penguin your GF?
No, she's married. She's married to like some guy in India who made her portfolio website. I am not on that.
Oh man. The way you describe her husband, it's a little bit funny.
It's I mean
You make it sound like she was extremely grateful for the portfolio site.
I mean she kinda is though. Kinda like, oh my god, my husband's a programmer. We're gonna make video games together. It's gonna be so great. She's
You make
vibing.
it sound, like she was like, oh, well, he made my portfolio site. Might as
He
well
made my-
marry him.
Oh God! Imagine that would be hilarious. Can we make that the narrative? I'm gonna pretend that's what happened now. I'm gonna pretend that's what happened.
The Kringle screech is too powerful.
From my end, it just looked like you asked the question and then Kringle remained silent.
Nice. That's fabulous. I'm gonna pretend that's what happened now. Kaz's husband made the website, and she's like, "Oh man, guess I'll marry him," because that's basically what happened in like excitement level, anyway.
Going back to your favorite Jojo boy,
Oh yeah.
another Anon asks, who has more soul in their art, you or Wolf? And which one of you is the biggest Jojo fan?
Oh, this is hard. Okay, well, first of all, I'll say that I'm the bigger JoJo fan just because I've been in it longer than he has. Like, I'm sure he'll eclipse me soon just because he's fucking shitting out so much JoJo content, I swear to God. But for now, I am the senior JoJo fan. And, Soul is hard because I feel like we have very different vibes with our art and we have very different aesthetic goals. I will tentatively say that I have more just because I feel like I experiment more with aesthetic and Wolf kind of does the same vibe every time. Not that that's bad. I want to feel like the superior person, so I'm going to say me because I don't want to give him a leg up. I want to be the soul person.
It would have been good if you could have listened to the Wolf episode previously because he mentioned you a couple of times on a similar topic to this.
He did?
You know.
Aw.
I think that's good that you go in this blind, not knowing what Wolf said about you.
Yeah, probably. Cause honestly, Wolf has been like a peripheral art senpai for me for a long time. So when I first started talking to him, I was like, my mind fucking blew up because and then recently he said that he used my art as inspiration for like an expression in his art, and I fucking died, man. Dreams do come true.
That's wholesome.
It's super wholesome, man.
It's the good ending.
This is the good ending. Like the world's fucking dying, but this is the good timeline for me.
I feel when your dad art crush becomes your dad art girlfriend.
No. Friend, not girlfriend.
No, woman friend.
Woman friend, female friend,
lady friend.
Lady friend. That sound makes me sound like a woman of the night. I just slip into his room being like, oh yeah.
I'm here to sap your gains, fucko.
I mean, that makes sense that one of your favorite pieces, the Kira and Shinobu one with the shopping carts, is one that you made for Wolf.
It is though. It's just because he drew a Jojo and a shopping cart for me. It's because I have a problem where I love collecting random niche kinds of images from the internet. I have a thing for reaction images with cups. Send me those if you have them.
Yeah, there are lots of them.
Yeah, exactly. There are lots of them, and people in shopping carts. So
the one from Pulp Fiction with Samuel L. Jackson with the cup, and just like.
Yes, exactly. And I love Shinji Cup because I love the Shinji Cup where it's
Black Goku Cup.
Yeah, it's Shinji Cup with a Shinji Cup, and there's a few. I have one of not
Mista with the cup.
Mista with the cup, but also Kid Simpson, the boy Kid Simpson with a cup. I have that one. I don't know. I need more, but yeah, Wolf. I'm a post. Wolf drew me this Jodo in a shopping cart when he learned that I have a thing for characters in shopping carts, and then I edited it where it like had more of a vibe, and then I was like, fuck this, I'm gonna go full vibe. So then I drew my own. Then I lived my fantasy.
And it was all an elaborate ploy to steal Wolf's skills.
Literally, you should make friends with the artists that you want to copy.
You guys are like a positive cycle of inspiration and motivation.
Essentially, it's great. It helps too that I know that I don't want to be him exactly. So there's no pressure to be like, oh,
There's no competition.
Yeah, exactly. We're both doing our own little vibe, and we're like feeding off each other. It's great.
That's cool. Everyone should try to find this one art friend that's your senpai, and actually you're his senpai at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Mutual senpaiship.
I think there's 2 more questions that tie into this very, very well.
Will their answers be better than this, or will they just be, oh, how big is your dick?
Yeah, when are you gonna ask me how big my dick is? I'm waiting for that one.
That is to close the podcast, but
No, we
since
need
you're
to close on
talking-
I think it's better to close on a positive note and motivating art notes.
Are you saying my dick being the biggest dick in dad isn't a positive note?
Yes.
God damn it.
Perfect. We can close the podcast with that now. But anyway, since you were talking about a wolf, I have 2 questions here from some admins that tie into this topic. One of them asks, who is your favorite Jojo? And the other one is, for some reason, is it awkward if I follow your not safe for work Twitter?
Okay, I'm gonna answer the second one first. It's easier. No, I do not have a problem. My not safe for work Twitter is Kringle _ not safe for work. I do not give a shit. I do not care. I need more followers on my not safe for work Twitter. There's only 2 posts, and they're both Jojo. So yeah, if you wanna follow me there, go for it. But as for my favorite Jojo, see, this is hard. This is hard because I have some opinions, and my opinion is that Araki does not know how to write characters at all. So when I say my favorite Jojo, I guess it's more on an aesthetic level.
I was assuming it was like that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because with the exception of part 7, because part 7 is like the one time Araki's synapses start firing in his little dusty brain of his. It's mostly just off of aesthetic. So I'd say Jotaro. I vibe more with the part 4 Jotaro, but if we're talking just in general, I'd say Jotaro. But I have to explain. It's not because I like him inherently. It's because Jotaro is kind of like the Sailor Moon of JoJo, in that he's not a person. He's like a symbol and an icon that can just be manipulated to whatever extent that you need or desire. Because like Sailor Moon isn't a person anymore. She's like an emblem. She's Tumblr took her over. The feminists took her over. I don't know, like neats in their basement who just need to jack off something took her over. Like Sailor Moon isn't a. She's like what's her name? That show where Lane. Sailor Moon is like Lane. She just an all-encompassing kind of concept. She's not even tied down to this earth anymore.
I mean, that's different because Lane is a concept in her own work, and Sailor Moon became a concept outside of her own work.
Exactly. But I'm talking about like in canon. Like Lane is this thing that existed and then just like spread out.
Yeah, Jotaro is kind of the face of JoJo with Dio.
Exactly. He's not a person. He's not something that's relatable. He's not something that people can identify with. He's just an aesthetic that can be changed and manipulated to an artist's desire. So that's why he's my favorite, because he has no personality.
Unpopular opinion. The best Jotaro content is the content made by the fans, with wholesome dad Jotaro with Jolene when she's a kid.
That is true. That is 100% true.
That's just 100% content that is not canon.
It's just facts. It's just facts. I will never get over the fact that Jotaro is not able to be a good father. Never ever. I hate it. Oh.
Let's talk about it in like 20 years when you make a work and a fucking thing, and then people make fan art of your stuff, and you say, well, yeah, Kringle's comic's pretty good, but the best part is when they use Space Girl in the fan art. They actually make it into a likable character.
Yeah. I can't wait till Space Girl has a kid and isn't able to become a good parent, and then the fandom gets mad at.
Yeah, I was exactly going to say that. The cycle repeats itself.
Nice.
Our children will become the next dad host, Bastion.
Ugh.
Probably.
No, not our children, like not our direct children.
They will inherit the podcast.
Just like you.
Yeah.
You
Kringle's
It's just like,
fanfic mind is already starting to
yeah,
trend
I mean,
here.
the people listening can imagine they can interpret this answer however they want. I won't ruin their fantasy.
no, you have to understand. It's just like full test tube fantasy, where it's just a goop monster. Like, it doesn't even go right. You would create some sort of fucking abomination or something. Oh, this is perfect.
Amazing. Perhaps a request for fan art is the best way to end the podcast after all.
I didn't say that, but if it tells people draw and be creative, if it makes people creative, then I won't get in the way.
Well, it probably will, because you already know what this site is about. So
Yeah. So you hear folks. You have their blessing. Fucking draw fucking goop fantasy for them. They don't mind.
of course not, but people will do it anyway.
True.
Who do you think we're talking about, Kringle?
Not me, because I wouldn't do it. I don't have time for that shit.
You have to do more important things, such as draw a father-aged man in a shopping cart.
Exactly. I have to draw more people in shopping carts. It's going to become like a thing.
Yes. Perhaps you should draw the podcast backdrop for this one, where we're all in a shopping cart or something like that.
Oh, that would be so cute. I'm down.
Who's pushing the shopping cart, though?
No one. It's a ghost shopping cart. We're just in it and kind of vibing.
I imagine, yeah, Sebastian and I in a shopping cart, like very much not kids in a shopping cart too big for them, and Seven struggling to push the shopping cart.
Yeah, no, it's not like in a parking lot. It's these stolen shopping carts where it's a little rusty and there's some moss on it, and it's on a road that's like on a slight decline, so you're just slowly falling to your inevitable demise.
And Kringle, Kringle is standing on the front, putting weight on sort of.
Yeah, oh, hell yeah.
That's kind of me.
I am me.
Do you think those are all the questions, aren't there?
I don't fucking know, man.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe Seven will just choose to cut the last 10 minutes of audio because they're basically vocal shit posts. But
all right. So, do you want me to do the outro?
Outro already?
Kringle, do it.
What's the outro? I forgot.
There is no outro. Just say, "Oh, thanks for listening."
Yeah, thank the people for listening and stuff.
So hey y'all, thanks for listening. If you want to follow me, feel free to go on twitter.com. Hey, I'll see you there, hopefully. And let's give a big thanks to our hosts, Lafayette and Bastian. Hey.
You're welcome. You're welcome. See you next time.
Yes, I'll see y'all later. Thanks for tuning in.
You're welcome.
Bye.
See you all later. Have a good one.